Great, great. We have just started recording, right?
Right.
Great, great. All right, guys. I am sharing the PowerPoint for Defender's Advantage, the PowerPoint file. This so this is part of the three most important ideas that I had. My first three ideas for playing Go. So this is very good. And out of the main ideas on how to play Go, as you can imagine, most of these are fairly common across, like other teachers and other professionals will tell you the same things. This one is the most unique one, like the most like me kind of Go play. And of course, it has a lot of relevance as well. People have different ways of looking at this. Anyways, the key here is defender's advantage. Danger is opportunity. So when we play the game, just remember that it's okay to get ourselves into a lot of danger, into complications. It's okay for us to not be in control. And realizing that we're not in control or getting ourselves into danger can be very helpful for getting out of danger. And the ability to not have to be in control all the time actually will give us a lot more control. And more control helps us win the games. And as usual, everything I say, it is heavily aligned with how the AI works, and everything I say and I focus on should have a very beneficial um, effect on explaining how the AI recommends moves. So if you use my ideas to explain the AI, hopefully this can help you guys help everyone sort of self-improve and self-study. And so this is meant definitely to aid and help in a combined manner. It's meant to work with everything else, and not really against anything, basically. Great. So let's recap a little bit. Last time we talked about the thickness principle. This is to put your stones outside of the opponent's move and the thickness. The one that we're the first idea was strengthen the weakest attacking stones. So out of these, strengthen the weakest attacking stones is kind of like when you have the advantage, when you have more stones than the opponent. Thickness principle is how to be efficient when you're doing your development. When you can place your stones further away from the thickness, you can be more efficient and sort of in a very even if not in a very even game. If it is very not balanced, it's designed for an even game. Today, defender's advantage, we're going to deal with either, we have to make something happen, or it's relatively even, but let's just take a risk and then, put our opponents out of his miseries. Great, great. Okay, one more recap. It's helpful to think of the values in Go, the values that you're trying to fight over as three broad categories instead of the two that you guys are familiar with. Most importantly, it's important to distinguish between thickness and influence. Thickness is safe stones or really strong stones. Influence is stones, that some stones, they're not that strong. Influence can be like a moyo that is not certain territory. Okay, good. The most important thing is sustainable development. This lecture was made for the Go Congress, and this was the US Go Congress. This was my teammate, another pro. This is me playing against an online opponent. you can tell that my teammate is doing a little better than I am at the moment. Anyways, this is the US Go Congress. Um, this is Stephanie. This is Ryan Lee. Okay. Okay. So now the most common reasons why we lose our games. And you guys will see this, especially when you face against opponents of higher ranks. When you play a teaching game with me, or when you guys do a simo against another professional, or in your City League games, which I saw every opponent was much higher ranked than us, so that's okay. The most common reasons why we lose these games is ineffective defense, and I do not mean ineffective defense as in we lose a group or something like that. It is the following kinds of moves. They often have the feeling of I'm not sure, so let me better be safe than sorry. In America, there's a common saying that which is err on the side of caution, uh, error on the side of caution. So if you make a mistake, it's better to be less aggressive than not. And this is very, very bad, and I really do not recommend this. This leads to a cycle of defense, and this cycle is exactly what we want to avoid. If you think about whenever you guys had a less like a teaching game with a professional, something like that, you have like say 5, 6 handicap stones. You should be very, very okay. We have more stones than the opponent, but somehow the storyline, the games always go one way, which is the professional. He or she will always have sente. He will attack one place and then attack another place and then attack another place and so on until at the end we're like, I no longer have enough territory, or we crumble under the attacks and things like that. So this cycle of defense is very, very common. And this way, once we start falling behind, it's very unhelpful to err on the side of caution because um, when we play these very, very safe moves, we fall behind. And what happens when we fall behind? We play overly aggressive. When we play overly aggressive, we die. We die. We lose groups and stuff. So um, as a result, you'll find that if we play safe rather than sorry, later on in the game, we will just make us play extremely unsafe, and we end up dying anyways. So if we're gonna die anyways, let's err on the side of more excitement, more possibility of winning, and that kind of thing. Okay, so let's see some examples of ineffective defense. This is a 3-3 invasion Joseki. Before AIs were abundant, before AlphaGo, this was never played because the Joseki looked like this. And 1, 2, 3, 4. This is good for white, and we talk. This is good for white because 1, 2, 3, 4, the 2 and 4 helps white become very, very strong, and 1 and 3 helps black become very strong too. The difference is white starts out not very strong, black starts out pretty strong. So black loses from what we talked about last time, and the AI's revolution in Josekis is exactly the realization that the outside white stones are not thickness, they're merely influence. So influence is not that strong, you can attack it. Now, after the 1, 2, 3, 4 exchange, the outside is thickness, you can no longer attack it anymore. How to use this thickness and stuff we talked about last time. Okay, so this is a very good example of a very, very ineffective defense, make losing exchanges. The next one is much more clear. This one, right in this is the beginning of the game, and we were told very early on not to play on the first and second lines in the beginning of the game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Black becomes very safe, but at the same time, this loses Sente, this uses up a move, and it's another example of let me just be safe. This way, at least I know I'm safe and stuff. Not recommended. Another one is this. This is a common Joseki headbutt, and then black extends. When white puts a little bit of pressure on black over here, now black immediately goes for the diagonal move and then the Hane connect. This is the same ineffective defense. It's very, very safe. It's making a very small amount of territory and it loses Sente. So if you play this a lot, we will fall behind in the game, and then later we'll play like super aggressive and get ourselves killed. The last example is a great one too. This is a very common Joseki 3-3 invasion again. White plays a double Hane move, and here it's a very good Joseki to most of you already know this Joseki. It's a very good Joseki to point out the importance of defender's advantage. Welcome. So here, when white's double Hanes, the only way that black can save all of the black stones in the area is to connect here at 2. This is the only way to keep black safe. Remember, better safe than sorry, err on the side of caution. And we know a lot of us know in this Joseki, the only choice for black is to cut at 3, capture the 1 stone, and then allow white to capture 2 stones in the corner. And here we are going to begin to see this defender's advantage idea being felt in these Josekis. So in this Joseki, just connecting is very bad, 5 to 7 points bad. This one saves all of the black stones. Here, black's only good choice is to cut Atari, capture 1 white stone, and lose 2 black stones. And even though black only captures 1 white stone, white captures 2 black stones, black still needs to play that way, and black is actually a little better in that Joseki. That's because of defender's advantage. White has invested a little bit more in this corner, 1 more move, and so this makes black okay with capturing 1 white stone for 2 losses. So this is very, very important. This is the exchange. Going for the exchange counterattack is a very, very important resource and idea that helps us utilize the defender's advantage. Okay, these are all common examples of ineffective defense because they're too safe, they are not aggressive enough, or they do not make enough value. Okay, good. And this version was adapted to the Europeans, and so remember, danger is opportunity. And so I last gave this lecture at the European Go Congress, and then the comment was, we Americans, we largely get this, danger is opportunity pretty well, or pretty right. And look at our popular songs. It's like danger is definitely not a bad word in the American culture and stuff. So, okay. And also remember, sustainable development is the most important thing when one goes to attack an opponent. So now, instead of how dare you invade me when you're in so much danger, we're modifying this statement to become, how dare you attack me without doing sustainable development? So when you attack, it's very important to continue to develop and strengthen your weakest attacking stones. If your opponent does not do that, that generally will put you in prime position to counterattack and sort of at the end of the game, it'll be like your opponent would be like, "What? You invaded me so carelessly, so callously without it's so unreasonable." And then you would say back to your opponent this. You're like, no, 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 I was very reasonable. How dare you attack me without sustainable development? All right, good. One more way to use defender's advantage. Find Sente resources. Sente resources are what usually is Gote small moves, but when you're under attack, they become very important Sente moves. And that's why committing to attacking is very, very scary. Note here on the top, Black's group is under attack, but in order for White to really attack Black, White has to save the 3 stones that's in danger here. So White captures 1 stone at 1, and when Black plays 2, White has to save the 4 stones, plays 3, Black plays 4, White plays 5. These are not particularly Sente moves. 3 stones, 4 stones may not be the most important thing, but at this moment, when Black is under severe attack, they become Sente. And these are the resources, and this is one of the advantages of the defender. Good, good. And so the main idea is small moves, small Gote moves, they become very good Sente moves that require you to respond to them when you're under attack. And that's what being under attack sort of gives you. Okay, let's go find the defender's advantage. Yes, here's a slide. The defender's advantage summed up is the defender has many advantages. The most important one, the one thing that you guys want to remember is this. The attacker cannot lose stones. The attacker can't have 3 stones die. The defender can lose stones. And also, the attacker can't allow the defender to make any territory because that would allow the defender to win, basically. So this is very, very, it's sort of, instead of thinking of defending as like, I have an obligation, I have a disadvantage because I have to defend this group. Think of this as if I get this, if I get 5 points here, if I capture 2 stones here, my group will live. And therefore, you have to save your 2 stones, or you have to prevent me from making 5 points. None of those things had to happen, originally, or none of those things would happen in a balanced position where both sides are roughly the same in terms of strengths. But when one side is clearly attacking the other, sort of these extra requirements pop up. And this way, the defender can take advantage of this obligation to not let the defender survive and thrive. Okay, so when it comes to it, the most important thing is the attacker can't lose stones, while the defender can lose stones. And so the exchange threat is very, very severe and very, very good for the defender. And you can use this to make small Gote moves become very urgent Sente moves against the opponent. And this way you can help yourself as a defender, as the one who is almost dead. You can do sustainable development because of all these Sente moves while you're being attacked. And so this is a very, very good thing to have, right? When you're clearly under attack and you're like, okay, I'll be happy if I just makes us out alive, that kind of situation. And if you can turn those situations into sustainable development situations, you can gain really, really a lot. Okay. So, okay, one more thing, how to defend. Before we talked about how to attack, and that was almost the same slide. How to attack, we had strengthen your weakest attacking stones, make territory, and make thickness. Today we add how to defend, which is make counterattack. And of course, the other two also helps greatly with defending. So note, it's very, very similar. Attacking and defense often go together. They occur at the same time. All of your moves will perform both offensive and defensive duties at the same time. We'll take a look at these situations in the games that are following up. So, one more thing we mentioned with the thickness principle was if your group has two made eyes, that's 100% alive. That group is 100% thick, 100% safe. And we remarked that when you are already pretty safe, going from 80% safe to 100% safe, or 80% thick to 100% thick, is not an efficient use of resources, not an efficient use of your moves. Um, okay, so that means once you are 80% thick, you no longer have any. Your opponent no longer has any designs to capture your group, attack your 80% thick group. Therefore, you therefore cannot have any more sente now against this very, very strong group. Therefore, what do you have to do? You have to counterattack against the opponent before you have made yourself two eyes. You have to counterattack the opponent before you become absolutely safe. This is very important because, again, if you become absolutely safe, you play these inefficient, 80% to 100% moves. This is very, very different from a lot of this sounds very different from the typical practice, which is you want to counterattack after you become relatively safe. Now, the key here is yes, that's totally intentional. And yes, I 100% do mean you have to counterattack before you are totally safe. Okay, so here in this example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, black is pushing out, counterattacking against the left-hand side white group before black makes the move at A, which gives him two eyes. In this one, white plays the attachment, cut, Atari, and then cut, counterattacking the outside surrounding black stones before white plays at A, which makes white two eyes. Okay, so the normal common wisdom is also makes sense. You have to get yourself strong enough to counterattack, which also does make sense. You don't want to fight to the death without being strong enough. But this is also extremely important. You have to strike back relatively early and probably earlier than you guys think. And that is how we use defender's advantage. A little story note here. Lee Sedol is one of the most famous Go players in the world. He played the AlphaGo matches in 2016. And of course, before that, he was a legend and stuff. One guy described his playstyle as you will never see Lee Sedol make two eyes. And why? It's because going for, making two eyes is not that efficient, and he always counterattacks before he is 100% safe. So good. So he does it. I try to do it. You guys should also try to do this. Um, So instead of making that two eyes, do something that is more important towards winning, which is sustainable development, helps to win the game. Okay. Um, Remember, you have to counterattack before you are totally safe. Okay. Okay, good, good. Sustainable development. One more thing that really helps. So you don't want to fight to the death, but you're telling us to counterattack without being very strong. So, I'm not really sure how to do that. Here is a very concrete example, and these are called fancy peeps. They are so a peep is a threatening to cut move. The next move you can cut. Fancy peeps just mean you're threatening something. You're threatening the opponent with something as long as you are getting him to respond. In this example, white starts with a group that's almost surrounded with two more stones that's cut off here. 1 through 12 is 6 moves for white, 6 moves for the for black, and white is able to every time threaten something against black, which ended up with black playing 6 moves right in the middle. They're not like a blob, but they're all in the middle here. And white has played all the white moves on the outside of that. So all these moves were Sente moves, and they made some kind of a threat, which is a fancy peep against black. These threats are very, very good. Remember, um, when you are on the defense, when you are on the defensive, defender's advantage makes a lot of normally small gote, small moves into very urgent Sente moves. These moves, these Sentai moves will help you defend your group and continue to develop, perform your sustainable development. So this is a great example. These are fancy peeps. They're threatening, like one is threatening for white to connect the two stones over to the main group. 3 threatens the same thing. And as a result, these are not like super threatening, like I'm gonna kill you threats. These are threats made only when white is on the defensive and when white has defender's advantage. Okay, so good. So once your opponent starts to attack you, and if you are able to sort of fight back and parry these attacks with these fancy peeps, these beneficial exchanges will make you very unpalatable to attack. They will make you very expensive to attack. Pretty soon, no one's gonna want to attack you anymore. And they'll be like, attacking this guy, I had such a bad experience last time. Let me not do that. Um, this actually does, this actually extends up, up the skill ladder much, much more, much longer than we expect. You might think, attacking at some point, you gotta do this, right? You gotta defend and stuff. This actually extends all the way up to the highest levels of Go and, world champions are there's a very common saying which is I'm very uncomfortable attacking the opponent, and when I'm attacking, I just don't feel very comfortable. This is why. So world champions do a lot of attacks, and sometimes they work, sometimes they fail. But a very strong consensus is it's much harder to gain on the attack than it is to gain on the defense. And that's because of all the defender's advantage that we talked about. All right. So some example games, and we will see this. Um, okay. So one game we will see Kung, who is a legendary invader and defender, plays another legendary player, Niu Weiping, and one is called a rolling invasion. This one will be very similar to a lot of our experiences. I think a lot of you guys and me will have similar experiences to this one. The counter-attack bully. This one's relatively short. We're gonna go quickly through this. I played one of these. Okay. There's one called nature's greatest nature's top hunters often take on the form of prey and sort of gets a prey to attack the hunter, which makes it really easy for the to hunt when the prey comes to you, basically. So we'll see this. And lastly, we will see the feature presentation, which is AlphaGo. And so I said all of my ideas are AI approved, and so hopefully that one is gonna prove that. And lastly, yeah, Dan skill sets to pick up. Some of you guys are trying to reach 1 Dan. Some of you guys are 1 to 2 Dan, trying to reach 3 to 4 Dan. Remember that attack and defense are very similar, and you know, build your positions to maximum of 80% strong, and then use the thickness principle to play outside of that. You sort of stop at 80%. Now, sometimes you might go from 50% to 100% in one move. That's perfectly okay. But once you have reached above 80%, it's time to do something more useful for your for winning the game. Sustainable development. But remember that life and death problems and reading, you actually need much less than you would expect. It's very common for players to complain and say, I lost because my opponent is 3 ranks higher and he reads out 10 times as much stuff as I do. We don't actually need to read that much once we have the right ideas here. Okay, with that said, let's go through the example games. I will shift the share to the other window. And I also have 3 games from you guys, and so we have plenty of material to look at. Okay, so the first one is this one. We talked about the anti-bully technique. Let me see if yeah, I think my sharing is okay. Okay, and this game we are playing white, and okay, at this moment, white is already got 2 weak groups, and we'll play one. And at this moment, when white really has at least 2 weak groups left, and left top, left bottom, very we're wondering what to do at this moment. White decides to play the greedy move, connect at G17, fixes a third area, and sort of just asks black to attack white, do whatever you will to me. And black obliges, continues to attack white. And here white placed another greedy move on the outside. Black pushes, white connects, black pushes here. Now, from before, remember, we attack by strengthening our weakest attacking stones. This one, I'm sure a lot of you will get this right. How do you strengthen what are the weakest attacking stones? Probably these 5, right? How do you strengthen it? Let me capture 2 stones and connect to the corner. Easy enough move to come up with, right? And good. Yes, this clicks all the boxes. My opponent did not play here. He's a 7-Dan. He did not play that move. So good. Okay, and so after black played just this one move, white now is able to use defender's advantage very well. And it looks like white is at a severe disadvantage in the fighting. All of the black stones are working together to attack these white stones on the left-hand side. Okay, so now, so how to use white's defender's advantage? Look for the counterattack. And so the connect, it's a Sente move. After this one, white plays the Hane move. The next move is this, and then this Atari. Now you could say, what if black captures a stone and then captures the other 3 stones? That seems like pretty good for black, and here is where defender's advantage comes into play. When you are really on the defensive, almost all exchanges will benefit you, the defender. That is a that's basically defender's advantage summarized. Remember, defender's advantage is the defender can lose stones and, can lose stones and many, many stones, but the attacker cannot lose any stones. The attacker cannot lose these 3 stones. The defender can lose up to 4 stones. Why? It's because black invested a lot more to get this attacking situation, and letting white do some exchange just lets white off the hook, basically. Okay, so black blocks on the outside and then has to defend the cut over here. Now here is another example of defender's advantage. White's best move here is Hane and then cut. And this is a very, very strong Tetsuji move. This looks pretty fine, like neither side is dying with a lot of stones. But remember that White was almost dead, and being able to survive reasonably well is just is total success. So in the game, White was not able to play that, but still, White was totally, generally very, very fine. The key here is to realize this. In this counter-attacking fight, at the end of the day, White was able to okay, white plays here and black plays here. White was able to get black to play 3 moves here on the left-hand side, just connecting black's stones, and where white just only spent 1 move. So black spent 2 moves extra just to connect his stones to his other stones, and white spent these 2 moves here and here on the outside, taking care of both sides. So here is a good example of using a fancy threat, fancy peep. The threat is the attack against the 6 black stones over here on the left-hand side, and for white to not fight to the death, but stop at the threatening part. And here, this is a great example as well. So here, another move is to cut black and then fight with black here. White could also play this move and fight with black, but white plays this attach, which fixes the cutting point, which again makes the threat of disconnecting black on the left that much stronger. And so this is probably no good for black, right? So this attach is very, very nice. It's a threat that sort of helps white strengthen himself as much as possible and also threatens black. So this is the kinds of moves, the fancy peeps that you guys want to look for in your fighting. And with defender's advantage, you don't have to worry about remember, any exchange is likely to go to the defender. So you don't have to worry about what if black, plays here and captures one of my stones? This exchange goes to white. The defender can lose a lot of stones. The attacker cannot lose any stones. So remember, black can't lose the 6 stones, but white can lose, almost all the stones here. And because white can lose a lot of stones, that's why white was able to save all of the white stones on the board, no problem. And as a result, white has a significant lead in the game. Black has no territory. White has 2 empty corners. Okay, so, okay, good here. Good. So the next phase of the game, now white has a bit of an advantage. White now goes on the attack. And remember, we talked about how to attack. We're strengthen your weakest attacking stones. When the opponent attacked us, black had a chance to capture 2 stones and be very safe and have a very fine attack. Instead, white was able to find counterattack and then force, with some fancy threats, force black to defend. And as a result, white was able to settle the white groups. So now white is on the offense. I am on the offense, and I made the lecture on attack, strengthen your weakest attacking stones. So you know that I am not gonna screw this up. The formula is make yourself 80% strong and then play the according to the thickness principle. So now on the top right corner where it's like, yeah, don't feel 80%. Let me press one more. Now I'm strong enough. Now I will use the thickness principle. I will envelope you from the bottom side. Feel free to do, this kind of cut. And yeah, and so yeah, and that's basically what happens. Now note, white now goes for the kill against black. And so note how close this will become later. At the end of this, black plays here, white has one eye. So remember our 80% strong group ended up with only one eye. So this was pretty close. And when you attack, you do have to, because of defender's advantage, you do have to sort of you do have to satisfy a little bit more objectives. Often at the expense of your own safety. For example, white would be perfectly safe, but because white wanted to capture black, for example, here, white played this move, which takes away black's eye space and does not make that much eye space for white. And later on, because white wanted to capture black, white ended up, going for the cut and then connecting over here, which did allow black to, you know, keep white at one eye. But this was very nice because white played here, and this was either so right. So black plays here and white plays here. So either white will make two eyes for black's one eye, or white will have one eye versus black's no eyes. And so we know one eye captures no eyes. And so this is, one of the biggest captures we have. And it's very, very easy once you have the thickness principle in mind, the attacking principles in mind, and you set it all up by using your defender's advantage from white. Okay, so this is a great example of how to get out of bad situations with defender's advantage. I'm gonna reshare to another game, and this is a classic game. I know I have to share the screen again. This one is Cho Chi-kung. He's also one of the most famous Go players. People describe his Go play style as the mole rat or mouse Go style, which he just invades. He's very low. He always makes two eyes and stuff. Black, he is playing white. Black is Nie Weiping, the legendary player from China. He recently passed away last month. Made a lot of news and stuff. So here you see the classic Joseki where the 3-3 invasion, and black does play the move Hane Connect exchange with white here. This was only played back then when white has both of these stones that are relatively close to the white thickness, which, from our thickness principle makes white less efficient and stuff. So here we have a very, very good balanced or equal position. Okay, black plays here. Now this game happened so long ago, maybe 30, more than 30 years ago. I saw this in some Go magazines. One of the variations mentioned was white plays here, black plays here, and you have this knight's move exchange going on. According to what we talked about last week, last month, these exchanges help black. These exchanges benefit black from the thickness principle perspective, because right now the thickness is here on the lower left corner, white is making, as big as it looks, white is making territory with thickness, while black is making territory with just one stone. So black gains in the efficiency fight. And so as a result, Chou Chu-kung does not pick that, and instead he picks here. Now, with defender's advantage, there's a couple of pointers to help us. One is invade at the weakest opponent. Invade the weak, not the big. So invade the weak area, not the big area. The top is very big. It's where black has the most amount of potential territory, but white has no stones around there. The bottom here, this is where black is weakest with cutting points. This is where you go for invading. And also, if we think about defender's advantage, this is also where we are able to counter-threaten the surrounding black positions most well. That's why you pick the weakest place to invade. And as you know, I live in America, and so America is very famous for picking on the weakest places to invade and and stuff. Okay, okay. Okay. Okay, so white plays here, weakest place to invade. Remember, Go is very, very realistic, so this totally applies. Plays here. Black plays very reasonable attacking moves that you and I will find to be super reasonable. Defender's advantage, counterattack before you are 100% strong. This often means you have to force yourself to take the risk, take the uncertainty, counterattack before you are really ready. That's often like where, remember, danger is opportunity. If you counterattack without any danger, there's not as much opportunity. So when you feel the danger, and remember, we Americans largely have this right. We like danger and stuff. Um, when you feel the danger, you feel a lot to be gained or a lot of opportunity. So here, white goes for the peep and then the push and cut. Counterattacks very, very right. Good. Black sideways jumps. And this, strengthen your weakest attacking stones makes a lot of sense. There's one more move here. When white plays here, black plays a puzzling move, this move. And this move greatly illustrates the defender's advantage idea. A normal attacking move, you can think of peep, you can think of surrounding white and everything. The response to these attacking moves is a surprising this move from white on the outside. Now, this move, I remember the answer to all Go questions is sustainable development. Is this move sustainable development? Yes, it's making a lot of territory or potential territory on the bottom. And secondly, what is it doing to help white? Well, that makes this move sente, and then this move sente, and oh, white already has two eyes. It's so easy to make yourself alive once you have these kinds of sente moves. And so in order to attack white, black had to play this move. Or of course, if he pushed here, yeah, that's the same thing. Black had to play a very, very inefficient, slow move, sort of in the back, in order to keep the attack going. And that's the power of defender's advantage. So great. Uh, and this is like very high level. They don't show you like all the variations that what they're worried about and stuff. Okay, so next white attaches and then ends up forming a 9, and the black plays here. Now here, yes, this is a moment. This is a moment. Remember, you have to counterattack before you are 100% strong or before you are totally ready. When will white be totally ready to counterattack? Play here, black blocks, play here, black connects. Now you're like, I have two eyes. I have nothing that I'm worried about. So now I can counterattack with impunity. You are right, but you have now lost the best the best counter-attacking chess. So white counterattacks before he's totally strong, and it was very, very important. And right now to play this attach, and then Atari, and then cut. And so here we'll see what happened in the process of counterattack. An exchange happened. Black captured one white stone, white captured one black stone. So what happened for white? White has made this group totally strong by making two eyes, by capturing one black stone. So this is still relatively valuable for white to accomplish this. Now remember what would happen after white is totally safe. How would this have gone? Let's just assume that white is able to somehow get the same result. What has white gained? A third eye for a group that has two eyes, which is worth precisely 0 thickness value or 0 safety value. That's why you have to counterattack before you're totally ready, because the process, the value of getting to safety is still relatively high. And that's why your opponent can't allow you to capture his stones. Once you are totally safe, you no longer have defender's advantage. Your opponent now can lose stones. Remember, the attacker can't lose stones. The defender can lose stones, sacrifice stones. Once you are 100% safe, you lose this defender's advantage, and you can no longer, you capturing opponent's stones no longer help you as much as before. All right. So that's why the counterattack has to come relatively early, or at least not late. At least not late. Black's strongest fight back is something like this, but remember here, white still has defender's advantage, which means black does not want to give up these two stones. That's still very valuable. And if black does not want to give up those stones, let's just say this happens, and all of a sudden this blob of black stones only has 3 liberties. What's he gonna do? He's gonna run towards the center. What's he gonna run into? White's thickness on the bottom. He has nowhere to go, and white has this still has this safety backdoor to come to. All right, so here we bring up one more side idea. Today we emphasize on you have to counterattack relatively early. In many other places, you will see you have to get strong before you can counterattack. And here we see why. You have to get to a certain strength where, white can still survive, or white can win this kind of liberty race with black. You can't be like super weak like this, where black will, where black might beat you at the capture race. So you do need a certain amount of strength to counterattack, but you definitely don't want too much strength before you counterattack. And also, of course, the threatening kind of attacks, the threatening kind of moves are often the best. In this case, it was white's attach. Black can fight back, but this would cut the black corner off. And so the threat of this exchange stops black from being able to counterattack against these threatening white moves. White builds up enough strength, and then he goes straight for these counterattacks. Okay. Now the next phase of so that's why white plays to invade the weakest opponent area first, the weakest part of the moyo, because white has counterattacks and a good way to use defender's advantage. Okay, the next phase, so the result was black was not able to keep white not alive, and black was not able to keep white from entering the top part of the moyo too. And so as a result here, white ends up getting to destroy this part too. And this should be reminiscent of some, games against professionals, simos. If you guys play with me at, in simo games in the future, you will feel like this too. I invade, and then somehow I got sente at the end. And of course, what happens next? The invasions keep happening. So now white is 100% strong. Black is relatively strong too. How does white put his stones on the right side of the thickness. Use your alive groups to continue to invade. Okay, good. So white plays here. Here, one more tough part. This is a singled out moment, key moment in the game. Remember, how to defend effectively, make counterattack and counterattacking threats. At this moment, it looks pretty uncomfortable for white. I have some eye space, but I'm not sure if I have enough for two eyes. So I'm like, it's kind of hard to it's very, very uncertain. Let's see how white played. Make some counterattack attach and extend. This threatens to play this move and cut this group off, this black group off. And so as a result of this, black plays this move to connect his weakest, strengthen his weakest attacking stones, right? So this move makes perfect sense. And then white plays this move. All of a sudden, for black to continue attacking white, first black has to, make sure white can't run out. White plays a Hane, plays the Atari, and pretty soon white has half of an eye here, and also one eye on the top, and probably two eyes. Clearly, white is already alive. And now white is able to Tanuki, all because white was able to um, make a little bit of counterattack, and all of a sudden the ice spaces just appears. So this is very, very effective. Counterattack, threaten something. Remember to not fight to the death when you're not that strong, and then you'll be all good. White was so successful, black ended up like not having a move, a local move here, because anything is gonna be gote. White is not gonna. Pretty soon, white's gonna invade, live, destroy your territory, and then also have the center to move on to the other parts of the board. And so this is a very common experience. And so I remember what this looks like here. And this black mojo looked extremely promising at this moment, with all kinds of possibilities of surrounding big territory. But at the end, at the second half of the game, none of the possible like large territories were surrounded. Everything was destroyed by white, basically. And why did this happen? It's because white used defender's advantage, counterattacked, was able to use the threat of exchanges, and basically was able to destroy everything. Um, um, Okay, good, good, good. And so at the end, white wins very comfortably. There are some other complications, but very, very easy. This is one of the most classic defender's advantage games, a rolling invasion. None of your, so instead of like the Moyo side saying, wow, you can invade anywhere, but I will make territory somewhere else, this becomes a situation where it's like, I will invade somewhere, and I will invade the next place, and I will invade the next place. I can keep invading because defender's advantage invades the weakest part of the Moyo, where you are able to most likely grab Sente at the end. So, okay. Good, good. Rolling invasions are a very, very good thing, and you'll definitely want to replicate this a lot. Okay, the next one is very, very, it makes a lot of sense, and this one is called Top Predator Mode. Sorry, Top Predator. Top Predator. Predator is meat eaters, basically. And so remember, the slide was nature's top hunters often take on the form of prey. So, okay, and so we'll see how I am playing black, and I will take the form of prey in this one. And this is my favorite strategy ever. So in the beginning, a very, very balanced game. Black has two relatively weak groups, one in the corner, one on the side. White has two relatively weak groups, one on the corner, one on the side. Pretty good. pretty even. And this one is a very, very open-ended game. You can play almost anything. You can almost anything in the form of you can take territory. That's a big move over here. Make thickness. This is a big territory. Corners are very big territory. You can play the attacking game. Jump is a good, attack and defensively balanced move. You can play this one to attack white. You can play this one to attack the right. So at this moment, when there's a lot of good choices, I go for my favorite strategy, of course. And of course, my favorite strategy rests on using defender's advantage. How to use defender's advantage? You have to get attacked and become defensive. So, how do I go about this? I play one move, defend this corner. The next white move is very, very reasonable. I'm sure 80% of you would play it. It is here. Very, very reasonable move. This starts the attack. And so this is this is a group that I am getting white to attack me with. Next move here. And this one, this is a bit of an asking move. Remember, if white wants to attack, white cannot allow black to connect underneath here. Make sense? So in order for white to attack, white has to play a relatively small, um, you know, anti-connection move here at N18, which does not surround much territory. Of course, this little bit is not enough. So black plays a peep and then plays one more move in the corner. Now, come on, attack me, attack me. This is my favorite. White plays moves that 80% of the time you guys will play too. I will play this too. Next move here. This is really testing white. This is probably white's moment, and you'll see. In order to really attack black and threaten black's life, white has to play this move, right? But this move is really not a territorially large move. It's not much sustainable development and stuff. So you'll see white hesitates. White plays one more exchange. Of course, in order to get the opponent to bite on the lure, on the trap, nature's top hunters present themselves as prey. Of course, I'll let white have this. White plays one more. Let white have this. White plays one more. Let white have this. Let white have all the centes. And at this moment, all these, white plays all these moves inside and, threatens the black group. Black played all these moves, not particularly big, but like all on the outside. It's very, white's gonna play here, right? Of course, white is gonna play here. You have ignored my threats for way too long. You die now, right? You die now. Okay, so opponent has taken the bite. We are clearly on the defensive, and let's see how this game goes. Black plays here, white plays another connect. This is Sente, and white gets it. This is the last moment where white can play this move on the outside, this move on the outside, and move on and continue to play a relatively slow game. But after all these very, very provocative come kill me kind of moves from black, right? I'm just gonna play outside and take some territory. How could you not play where white played next? I'm sure all of you are looking at the same point. Oh, not here, not here. Jump. Destroy black's ice space. Black will get his comeuppance for this rude behavior or something. Here is where defender's advantage really comes in. Because black is really on the defensive, the defender can lose stones, the attacker can't. Black places push. White pushes and cuts. This local fight will work for white, but in this possible diagram, white captures black stones. Black doesn't capture any white stone, but this is still very, very good for black. And that's because, the defender can lose stones, the attacker can't lose any stones. and the attacker can't let the defender make a few points either. And this is what happens. In this case, black making a few points is much, much better than white capturing 2 stones. So the exchange threat is very, very strong. It's very helpful for using defender's advantage. So black is, in other words, able to play this push and get away with it, get away with a sente move without any bad effects. And the same goes for the next turn. Also sente. This does not have to be sente. White can this is not a particularly large endgame move. It's worth maybe 5 or 6 points. That's clearly not the biggest move, on the board. But because white is attacking black and the thickness value, the safety value of getting to safety for black's group is so high, the extent becomes the most important move on the board. And white has no choice, basically, but to play this one. This is why we said this is probably the last moment where white could reasonably play on the outside. Yes, you can play on the outside now, but this would be a losing exchange. You can play on the outside now, but this would be a losing exchange too. By the way, don't be surprised if the AI asks for white to do exactly this. And yes, this moment is probably when white really needs to pull back. So, but how could white, after all the prey-like behavior that black did and the sort of taunting behavior, come kill me, come attack, right? I'm so weak. How could white not play this move to attack black? Yeah, is this so? Okay, good. But this is a move that really puts white down a big disadvantage. Throw in, capture, play here, connect, this move, connect. All of these are sentes. And even though white did a very strong job at trying to take away black's ice space, black still found the ice space. And that's mostly because white couldn't, play when black pushes, white couldn't play these counter-attacking moves and things like that. Okay. Now, I don't use defender's advantage just to live with 2 eyes. That would be too easy. And remember, the most important thing to use defender's advantage well is the idea of you don't want to make yourself 2 eyes. That would be 100% safe. You never want to get to absolute safety, then you lose your defender's advantage. So the key is to counterattack before you are 100% ready. Before you are totally ready, you're totally safe. And that's exactly why it's very, very important for black to go counterattack now before making 2 eyes. So black plays this move. White now realized, oh crap, I am actually in real danger myself. And this is a moment where, nature's top hunters often take on the form of prey, and the prey and, the hunter is now the hunted. So white is the one that's really, really in danger now. And now white really regrets having played all these first and second line moves. This whole blob of moves didn't help white make anything, certainly not any sustainable development. So here white plays this, and it's very important. Very often, using defender's advantage to survive and, do the defensive fight is very, very hard. And it's often a very difficult and dangerous exercise. So it's once you have reached safety, it's very, very tempting to just grab hold of safety. I see 2 eyes. Let me go make my 2 eyes. Remember, this is exactly what we don't want to do. We have to manually, consciously ask our brain to think about fighting back and going on the counterattack before making those 2 eyes at those moments when we have finally reached safety. this is very important to go for this and then counterattack like this. And pretty soon, white is now desperately looking to escape. So good. Um, and so here hunter becomes hunted and everything and everything. So now remember, so now, I am at the moment where I'm like, okay, this is all good. I am all winning. And I say, yeah, sure, sure. You can't, wow, white, you can't even connect. And so I would play here and then this whole thing would die. And so instead you're gonna lose half, right? Yes, let me kill your half. Great, great. Game over. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, yeah, this was really fun. It's move 73. It's like half an hour into this tournament game. And my opponent has to resign. This never felt better. Um, it is at this moment where, remember, I have lost defender's advantage. And who has the defender's advantage now? It is actually white, because white is the one that's about to die. And here, white finds a very nice Tasuji, Atari, Hane here in Sente, and then Atari here, and then plays a ko. And all of a sudden, white finds a ko to help her actually survive this. And white ends up surviving, and black had to, after white survives, this is a bit of an exchange. Black wins the ko. White only wins one stone, but who benefits from the exchange? It's clearly white. White was almost dead. Now white is clearly alive, all for like 10 points on the left-hand side. So this is totally, totally fine for white. And so the game becomes a lot closer and we continue to play later. However, later I would find that the game is like 5 points black favor, and later white actually does a good job over here. The game is now only 3 points in black's favor, and it's very complicated. But my opponent resigned at this moment. Why did my opponent resign? One, clearly the beginning attack was the whole blob, and where it's like, oh, I almost totally died. I had to think very, very hard to find that ko in order to make me survive. I really don't want, remember, once you make these very good defensive fights, once you make yourself very expensive to attack, your opponent will not want to attack you anymore. And so my opponent in this game, he's like, up to this point, it's like, I have to attack the black group here. And man, I know how that went last time. I really don't want to attack black. But if I don't attack black, I have to play something like this. And it's going to attack me. Well played. I resign. So because at the last moment, because the last attack went so badly, my opponent was in no mood to go on the offensive now. And remember, this is what we talked about before. Once you make yourself so unpalatable, so unappetizing to attack, your opponents will not want to attack you anymore. And that's what you want. Yeah, and so this was an easy victory turning into a close, hard game. Still a bit of an advantage, but then it turns into a totally easy victory again because of how bad the attacks have gone later there. Okay, so this one, in reality, black should have finished white off way early. That would have been perfect. And that would have been the perfect nature's top hunters often take on the form of prey strategy. And yes, that's what I do when I play Go. And as you guys can tell, this is a very, very fun exercise. All right, lastly, we are looking at the feature presentation. So hopefully all of these examples do a much better job at giving you guys a feel for defender's advantage and how to use it, than me just crafting some statements, right? Like you want to counterattack before you're 100% ready, before you're 100% strong, and you're like, I'm not sure if that's correct, right? Okay. This is AlphaGo versus Lee Sedol. This match ended 4-1 in AlphaGo's favor. The most famous game is the game that Lee Sedol won. This is not that game, but this is very, very illustrative of our points here. Defender's advantage and how it is AI approved. So, of course, let's see how the first superhuman AI AlphaGo uses defender's advantage to fight and win his games. Win its games. This was game 3 of AlphaGo versus Lee Sedol. Lee Sedol is down 0-2. And so in the third game, he brought his A game. After game 2, people were like, I hope Lee Sedol plays his game. He's a aggressive player and stuff. And so here in game 3, Lee Sedol brought out a very aggressive Moyo game, very different from how he played before. And clearly he's like ready to fight it out, fight it out with AlphaGo for sure. All right, evades. Black plays here. This was a popular Joseki. Another popular Joseki back in the time was this one. Black plays here to get white to block, so that this is a very narrow and uncomfortable life living shape for white. So here AlphaGo plays this move that was never seen before. Similar moves were played before, but this is not Joseki. When Joseki goes here, for example, AlphaGo goes here, and Lee Sedol does not hold back, goes for the attack right away. And so here Black has a big advantage. I have to say, I did watch this game live, and when Lee Sedol played this, I was like, wow, this looks, is white okay here? This doesn't look very comfortable for white. Let's see. White plays here, black plays what we would play as well, block and cut. White also cuts black off, and black also plays where we would play, plays there. The next move is a little bit puzzling, and black played here, that's okay. That's capturing the one stone. Another move would be this knight's move. Both are very, very similar. And AlphaGo goes for the turn. This is making some counterattack. And in this case, just because black's corner is not 80% strong, it's not going to die, but it's not 80% strong. White is able to get some counterattack going against the corner. If black plays somewhere to surround white, these moves will be sente. And after these exchanges, white can extend all the way out to here on the third line. And clearly white would have destroyed black's left-hand side Moyo and lived and destroyed the top side Moyo. So reminiscent of the Chochukun game we saw in the second game. And so that's why Lee Sedol played this extend. And remember again, this also is very similar to the similar move that Niu Weiping played against Chou Chi-kung in the second one. Remember, in order to attack, he had to play that pillar move in the center of the board. Looked very slow. Lee Sedol here, in order to keep attacking white, had to play this move, makes a corner extra strong. And so this is the first uncomfortable move that black had to play in this game. But clearly still after this, black has strengthened the weakest attacking stones. White has, whenever so this is one of those games where if I'm white, I'm very uncomfortable on the defensive end. When I'm black, I'm very uncomfortable on the offensive end. Let's see how the next moves happened. White plays here to escape and move out. Black plays here, and white plays this move down. This is a very interesting move. So if white just moves out, this turn is a very happy shape for black and stuff. And so white sort of black wants to push up first and then turn, so black can get both turns and make white into a inefficient empty triangle shape. Black could not reach this. Now white would jump. So and so when black played here, white AlphaGo is saying, you can't reach that either. Now I'm gonna block. And this one, the most noticeable move is black playing here. To this, it is very important for white now to use the defender's advantage to go on the counter offensive and to deal with this situation. This is very, very dangerous, but white has a very good sequence. I asked my other students about this. Only one student came up with this, so don't worry if you guys don't see what white is gonna play now. It's this double hane. This uses defender's advantage really good, really well, because the defender can lose a stone and not feel a lot of damage, can lose a second stone and not feel a lot of damage. And the attacker, even though the attacker didn't lose any stones, just the fact that white is able to push out over here in this middle, just weakening the 3 black stones on the left and the 3 black stones in the middle is enough to make this position a very, very good one for white. And so black fails in the attempt to contain white. And so if you can't play capture the 1 stone, you can't double hane too many cutting points. So then the only thing black can do is to extend. And then white pushes again. Now the cut does not capture white, any white stones anymore. And afterwards, we can see here, white is very comfortable, totally alive, and black is the one that has a lot of cutting points. Very important to use defender's advantage to play extra aggressive, to play the double hane move, put yourself in danger, because of this exchange threat. The exchange is not capturing black stones versus black capturing white stones. The exchange is white is able to break out after black captures some white stones. And just breaking out is enough to make white gain in the exchange because white has defender's advantage. So because of this very uncomfortable diagram, black basically is stuck with extend up or extend down. Hane down, you also get cut, and the stone is not gonna survive. So when Lee Sedol played this extend down, I was like, this looks like a very weird move, Lee Sedol. Why extend down? Don't you want to surround him and attack him? And so this is what stronger players will often be able to do. They can break, they can sort of reconstruct what both players are thinking or reconstruct like these shape knowledge issues in this. By the way, this kind of shape, this double hane is a common shape, and so look for this double hane in your games, third line and the second line. And this game was a super example of this, even though it did not come to play. All right, so white jumps, plays here, and black, Lee Sedol plays this knight's move. At this point, I was like, okay, black is making some territory. The attack didn't go as well, as we hoped, but black is making territory while he is attacking. So still, so far, so good. It was at this point where AlphaGo was able to make a really daggering move. When white played here at this move, I was like, oh my god, okay, shades of game 1 and 2. Okay, this is troubling. This is trouble. If black normally blocks, white would play something like this, and the 3 stones are totally surrounded. So normally, that's not like the move is like invade. You play here. You may attach. Usually, you're not playing this like reverse shoulder hit. But at this moment, after the move is played, you're like, oh my god, that is such a strong move. And again, defender's advantage. Black can't lose 2 stones. White can lose this 1 stone. White can lose another stone. No problem. Okay, and so in the game, black has to save the 3 stones this way. And here comes a series of fancy peeps. At the time, everyone is reading out, wow, will this work? This is very complicated fighting. Is that gonna work? Is that gonna work? White plays starting off fancy peep. white plays this move, it clearly threatens black. White can now extend out and have a very strong surround against black. This move is clearly like the most development you can make that is also attacking and also kind of defending. So it's kind of the kind of move that after white plays, you're like, ah, this is such a clearly good move. I could have came up with this in 5 seconds. It required no reading. But, beforehand, I was like, I was not gonna come up with this move. Okay, black blocks. And the next move is also a little surprising. We're reading this out. We're reading out the cut, reading out this turn. White plays the knight's move. And this one, the threat is very clear. Black needs to connect, and after black connects, white also connects, and this favors white. Remember, the exchange favors the defender or the player who has put less resources into the fight. Black connects, white connects, favors white. Makes sense. So black tries to cut white. This is like the last thing black can do to stop this from being a bad attack. But the more black tries to hold on in these situations, the worse it becomes. Right now, we're all reading these very complicated fighting sequences, and AlphaGo plays block. Block is a perfect example of a very fancy peep. The next move is to capture the one stone here. Remember, the Hane connecting the corner is Sente. Play that first before you play this capture, and white still connects, and so that's why this move, this block, is a peep. It is also a move that's more valuable than the black move preceding or the black move afterwards. Black cross and some place here. So instead of one cutting point, black now has 3 cutting points. So black, every exchange is helping white and hurting black. This is fancy peeps. We're reading out like, can we cut? No, white just Ataris on the outside and then connects another peep. And the next one, another peep on the cut. So this sequence was so crisp and clear, and every exchange felt like it was, helping white advance towards victory, which is a definition of sustainable development. And every move that black was making is just curled up in this little area, trying to hold his stones together and not die. This is why, this is where, AlphaGo was able to turn a very weak, invading defensive situation with counterattacks and threatening to exchange. White was able to totally turn the tables on black. White played a lot more development moves, sustainable development, than black did. Okay, and so the game is now very, very tough on everything. By the way, here another one through 13, another great example of white continuing to play sustainable development with defender's advantage, and black having to make sure that the attacking stones are strong enough. Okay, and so afterwards, we can see the same kind in the Chochukun game. We saw a rolling invasion where 3 possible territories, potential territories, were destroyed. Here, the top potential is destroyed, the left is destroyed, and the left bottom was reduced. And white made a huge bottom, so huge successes for white, and it was able to achieve this by sustainable development through using defender's advantage with counterattacks and stuff. So of course, one of the most important things with using defender's advantage is defender can lose a lot of stones. The attacker can't lose any stones. So white definitely played in a way that made it like really, really expendable, right? Black could have captured many white stones at one point, but it was always unfavorable to do so. So in America, there's a very famous movie called Saving Private Ryan. So in Go, it's like, we don't want to go saving Private Ryan. Okay, but the cool thing here for white is White clearly played in a way that allowed sacrifices. The defender can lose stones, right? But you'll see that up to over 100 moves in, and White hasn't actually lost any of his stones. And this is perfectly reasonable. Remember, the most common cause of losses is over defense, over the safe. The result is you fall behind in sustainable development, and therefore you play overly aggressive and sort of just allows the opponent to capture you later. So you end up with more losses when you are not willing to suffer any, losses in the beginning. And so when you play very efficiently and when it's not profitable for the opponent to capture a couple of your stones, in this case, AlphaGo actually didn't lose any stones. So that was very, very interesting to point out here. This is a Sente move. So clearly, AlphaGo is not playing in a way to save his stones, right? He just made sure to sacrifice two. And then he played here to make sure this group is totally alive. And this corner now is Ko. If you play here, this is threatens to make an eye at C19, and then this move is Seki. So to play here, White has to be careful, play this move, and then this is a Ko to capture the corner. So so White is basically living in Sente and making everything very clear. And that Black is leaving this corner in a Ko state and then going to invade White on the bottom just shows how desperate the situation is for Black. And good. So, okay, good. Defender's advantage. AlphaGo is clearly defender's advantage approved. And so later here, Black was not able to get any real. Black made like a one-step Ko here, and remember the solution to all complicated issues, the solution to all Go questions. The answer is sustainable development. So when Black makes a desperate Ko here, frequently what the best response is to play sustainable development. This is a big move. You can see another move, and Black is totally under attack on the upper side. All the top territory is destroyed. By making this, now White sort of doesn't totally have to win the Ko on the bottom anymore. It's no longer a must-win Ko for White. And this is a little bit to do with our, defender's advantage idea. The defender can lose stones, the attacker cannot. Okay, so well, in the case at the end, Black was not able to win the Ko in any case. And now we know exactly how much Black is behind by. Black is behind by 67 points or 73 points. Before or after this White move over here at the end. So this is no doubt the worst defeat that Lee Sedol has suffered. And remember, if you take advantage of defender's advantage and focus on sustainable development on the defensive end, you can beat Lee Sedol by 70 points. The strongest player at the time by 70 points. And defender's advantage is very beautiful because White would not have been able to achieve this by attacking some Black group. If you attack, the best case scenario is, even if the attack is theoretically totally working, you capture a group, but a group is usually not 70 points, right? So if you attack the opponent's Tanukis, you kill it, opponent's move is worth something, and that counteracts the value of you killing his group. So by just going on the attack, usually you can't win by as much as you can win with defender's advantage. By going on the defensive end. That's why I like to play on the defensive end, get my groups a little bit weaker, grab a lot of values, and then counterattack using defender's advantage. very often the opponent is not willing to accept a slightly bad result, so he makes it worse. Not only does the opponent not capture us, we also have a great opportunity to counter capture the opponent's group, and we can help ourselves by counterattacking before we are 100% safe. Remember the top predator game? That was when we presented a very weak group to the opponent, and it reached safety. But when it reached safety, it was thinking counterattacks, not make my two eyes. Um, Okay, good. So, okay, good. So hopefully, this you guys can see how AlphaGo and AI also feature this kind of ideas in yeah, defender's advantage ideas. It's very, very common. So common, in fact, that the top players in the game uh, frequently remark that it's so difficult. It's so difficult to gain and win on the attack, and it's much more comfortable taking more territory, sustainable development, and playing on the defensive end. So hopefully this is a very good introduction to my game. And of course, this is also the game for a lot of top players as well. It's just that, yeah. Okay. All right. So remember that completing development and expansion on the board is most important, and over defending and slowing down your development is the most common source of losses. And hopefully, this can help make your game more fun, more dangerous. Make it a more dangerous environment for your groups, but generally more fun. All right, so this one is Elias, and Elias is a 5Q playing against a 3 Dan, a very, very big underdog, so we all expect this to go the way it goes. Aha! These techniques of defender's advantage seem to require more of a Tsumego practice. It will help, yes, but you will need less reading and more guts than you would think.
Yeah. Actually, this is a fake rating because I don't play on
Okay.
Pandanet.
That's
Yes.
okay. So Elias is a little bit stronger.
Yeah,
Good,
it's
good.
likely about 2 Dan.
So this is a much closer game. So here, Joseki is this. Another Joseki is here. These are the two most popular Josekis. And we can see the clear difference between those the Joseki moves and this one. And so this is a little bit less. Remember, the most common source of loss, reasons for loss, is this kind of not enough development, not enough sustainable development. These exchanges, I do not think benefited white, so we gained back a little, but the trend is not our friend here. Okay, good. Very good. We invaded here, and so here, remember, invade the weakest part of the moyo, not necessarily the biggest part of the moyo. Invade the weakest, not the biggest country. Yeah, not the biggest. The weakest would be here. However, I do see the worry is black just totally gives this up. And that's okay. So then if this is okay, this is where the black moyo is biggest. So that's okay. Good. Yes, this is a very, very good counter-attacking move, creating some weaknesses in the black shape. Very, very good. Okay, and then white place here. Now to follow through on the on this, a very good plan is this. Remember, fancy peeps, this push and cut is not really sente. You may not want this anyways. But here, this makes this move, which stops black from connecting, extra efficient. And so later, when you cut, this cut will become sente. And if you're able to create a little bit more weakness in the black shape, that could be a good idea. Now, if you find that no matter what you do, suppose this corner looks like this. If you find that suppose whatever you do, you will not be able to threaten the black corner, then you have realized that you have committed an error in terms of our last time's topic, which is thickness principle. We've played too many moves too close to a position where the opponent was strong. In that case, you will want to jump out earlier. This is just a judgment call. Can you threaten black or not? Okay, good. Yeah, this is reasonable. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. We would like to sort of balloon ourselves up and make this a like a 10-point shape. That would be very, very comfortable. But yeah, as long as you honey next, okay, then I think it's still okay. This is yes.
His
This
is white, is black, by the way, but
oh
Yeah, I would say that. Thank you.
so you Ilias is 3 dan. Wait, what?
No, I'm
no,
black.
his is the black player.
I'm black, and probably I'm one stone weaker than my opponent.
Yes, yes. Okay. Good. Good. Okay, good. Jump. Jump is okay. This white move is a classic example of the most common source of losses, which is over defense. And so now if black is able to play this jump, this another more pressureful move, both of these would be very, very good. Yeah, good. So very, very good job here. Okay, we're attempting to capture white hole. Yeah, this is a little tough. This is a capture without ko, but white has these very strong cuts. I can see how this is very unclear to say the least. In this moment, extending in would help a little, but this requires one to identify that, this left-hand side is very, very strong, and it's not easy to be able to identify this. For example, on the outside, we can use something like this loose surround and be okay. But this is, this is complicated. In the game, we just went for the code. Okay, yes, we can connect. And yeah, this is a little bit good for white locally. We did contain our losses by cutting. So the game goes on. This is still fine. Remember that most of your gains will come from invading into the corners, invading where the opponent is weak. Okay, good. Yeah, so hopefully that like invades the weakness, the weakest area. Hopefully that helps a lot. Good. This is an end game, probably not as big as the right-hand side invasion. Okay. Yeah, we did invade here. Good. This is actually going very, very well. We got white to play this like very aggressive attacking moves. It's the perfect time to start using defender's advantage and try to win the game from here. Hopefully this works out for black in the end. Does it? This is great. You should see this as like, I am about to win the game. This game is going great. And you are. You connected this out, and this is working well. And great, you found this move. This is perfect. If white continues down this path, the hunter becomes the hunted. And these moves are all sente extend. You have a whole bunch of liberties. White doesn't even have one full eye. And good job by your opponents to look. It's so tempting to say, this is a total failure of an attack. I gotta try something and capture. Opponent was able to hold this, which is good. Now here, good thing to point out, remember small gote moves become sente moves when you're under a lot of threat. In this case, hard to see this. Yeah, suppose you played this move and then you played this honey move, and then you play this extend move, your corner is 7 points, right? And in the game, your corner is not 7 points yet. So you and I, we both know that in the game, you're playing your opponent. He's definitely gonna go after and try to capture your groups. So you can get all of these moves in Sente. It's a little more important than just expanding your corner territory a little. Remember later, once you are 100% strong, right now your group is 100% safe. This S19 is not Sente, P19 is not Sente. This, most importantly, T16 move is no longer Sente, because if you could get this in Sente, you can destroy White's ice base. And all of a sudden we're talking, you know, more than just even more. The hunter becomes a hunted and everything. But anyways, so good job in this game, and feels like black should be able to have enough, but at the end here it was white by 10 points. So maybe the bottom white was a little too big, huh? Yes, okay. Remember that the thickness principle applies equally well in the end game. And in the end game, very often the biggest moves are in the sides and the corners. These are Sente moves. The extend is a Sente. 10, 20, 30, 40. Yeah, white has like 50 points. Shouldn't be a problem for black. 10, 20, 30. 40, 50, 60. I see. Yeah. I think now is like black by 5 points or so, which is not that much. Yeah, so that's understandable. Yeah, a little bit, you know, yeah, end game. Too bad. White captured a few more stones in the center. T3 was white's. Sometimes, whenever we have any trouble in the end game, if we find that the AI graph, like we lost like 5 to 10 points in the end game in our AI graph, frequently it's because we didn't go to the sides and the corners earlier or faster, early enough or fast enough, or that kind of thing. So very frequently we could go for more of the sides and the corners instead of this move, the extend move. This Hane move, very big. This is you can see how this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, already 7 points, and that's before any of the black points that are getting made. So this Hane is 10 points plus this one. It's probably worth 11 points. There's no way black can surround 11 points in the middle, for example.
Yeah, I
Okay,
was
okay.
afraid of being cutted, but there was no cut there, right?
Yeah, I know. And
Yeah.
there, we have come to the most common sources of error. I was being safe. I was being safe, and yeah, and safe. All right, we have another game from Philip or Felipe. Yeah, we can watch that. I think early. Wait, the other one, the third player is not here, so that's okay. That game is here. That one was, I'm sure we had an advantage when we invaded the 3-3 and then ran the group out and then lived. We gained so much there, and that was a perfect use of defender's advantage. And
Yeah, I messed up in the end.
yeah. No worries, but great job getting to that position. Okay. We are black in this game. Good. A lot of pressure. I really like this 2-5. It's clearly your own move. It's probably not the top AI move, but it's good. I really like it. Okay. So this is another moment of defender's advantage. You may play this in the game. Ooh, this move was not played in the game. So black is relatively weak. You're under attack. It's a great moment to play C1. This is why you'll see this move played very often in professional games. The next move makes basically makes an eye for black and takes away one eye for white in Sente. So most of the time white plays here. At this exact moment, white has these counter-attacking ideas. So that's why you'll also often see black make a jump and then play the corner. But anyways, you do want to get to the corner before white does. Okay.
Yeah, I saw both steps.
Mm. Yeah. This is a can't cut because white captures our stone there. Oh yeah. This is a very bad exchange. So this falls into the category of black is under some threat, but black was not able to defend it, and this happens a lot. You defend, so you become 100% strong. You lose your defender's advantage, and white gains at your expense. White develops faster. Play here, play this push. Now that you didn't lose your 2 stones, and whenever you turn, you are attacking white. White may not want to Atari like this and allow you to live. And so if white plays something like this move, all of a sudden you might get the same kind of run out situation again. This is very complicated, but it's also, danger is opportunity here. We have an opportunity to counterattack various white groups, and it's a very complicated situation. So the problem in the game was we gave up those 2 stones. When we gave up those 2 stones, white is totally safe, totally strong, and then white in the future can bully us around, basically. So here it's important to make the push and do the counterattack. It's a little risky, but the most important thing is the defender can lose the 2 stones, and the attacker cannot even allow black to threaten white's corner like this. This way black sort of lives in Sente and is happy. Okay. So all reasonable how this proceeded. The only unreasonable thing here was that we have a G1 and an H1. So white does not want to do this. White wants to do sustainable development, play on the right-hand side. White plays G1. This is Gote. Take the moment to play this move. It has counter-attacking qualities. Jump out or play the shoulder hit to save yourself. So the block is an unnecessary move. Now here you guys can see to read out that block is not necessary is not hard, but all you had to do was think about the possibility of the defender can lose stones, the attacker can't. So can I tanuki this? And then when you think about can you tanuki this, then it's very, very easy to find out that none of your black stones are threatened here. So there's no threat. And so of course you can tanuki this. Even, you're at first you're like, if I lose my 3 stones, okay, yeah, maybe I still want to tanuki. Now you're like, wow, I won't even lose my 3 stones. Sure, I will tanuki. So it's an opportunity there to gain a lot. Okay, good. Good. I think in both games we were able to fight back relatively well. Like in this game, remember, right now, if we're able to surround from the left, I think that would be very, very nice. That was the game move. This is perfect. Oh, yeah, this is perfect. Close. Yeah. Um, yeah. This was so close. I know what happened later. This became a ko, and then we couldn't win the ko. If we don't do this, then white has some sentes like this, and maybe we won't survive either. But it seems like we might be able to make this work. So very unfortunate. Whenever it's very close, it's almost always okay to play like this kind of threatening move to threaten this move and then attack the left as well. White has played, these first line moves are very reminiscent of how the top Predator game opponent played 4 moves on the first line, connecting, not making a nice space. This is a very similar amount of commitment to the kill. White didn't make any ice space. Potentially, we could have played the softer move too, but yeah, how could we not go for this one? And it was so promising too. This becoming a ko is ah, mm, ah. This is definitely a good opportunity as well. The coast threat may have been good enough if we played this one. Remember your thickness. If we were able to see this whole like string of stones as thickness, we may have a good way to play this move and then just get on the right side of the thickness. Once we get another peep here, it'll be pretty easy to capture white. And whatever white plays, the next move is this peep, and then it'll be pretty easy to capture white. So yeah, that would have done it. This may have done it, but this jump would have been at the like ice space shape, and it probably would also work. Yeah. So this we have to play here. White cuts. Yeah, this may work still, but as you can see, it got a little bit complicated, like this, and then extend, and then this. Maybe this is still gonna work, so maybe we did good enough to still capture white overall. And yes, great. If we're playing black, we should also win this game too. The move is here for a few extra points.
Yeah, I messed up in the very, not the very end, but when I was protecting the center group.
Oh no. So remember today, the most common reasons for loss is we over defend and we sort of lose value. Is M8 faster than N7? M8 faster than N7. Yeah. So this is a moment where I think the safe thing would have also worked. So yes, M8 is a great move. The reason this was not played was it's hard to see a direct, I'm sure it was harder to see a direct way to surround this. But yeah, I think this will work too. It's great. Either way, it's a good situation for black. Okay, here. So we were very safe in the middle, protected this group. The top died, but I think that should be still okay. Oh, I see. Maybe not. Maybe what?
In the end, he made life. Yeah.
No. Ooh. Okay. I see. So, okay. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 points. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Yeah.
He was about 5 ahead.
Damn it. I'm sure, yeah, since all of these moves are all Sente moves, I'm sure black would be okay doing a modified version, play here and then throw in. Remember, with, defender's advantage, getting these moves is the best, and then block, and this is totally alive. And even if this is not 2 ice, white will have less liberties. Yeah, this
I
aspect
actually
is-
just did not see that he was made an eye.
Yeah, I know, and it was totally too late. This was
Yeah.
no. Okay. Well, good job, guys. When I saw the losses, opponents were ranked higher. I thought the games went much worse than they actually did. So, the 2 games that we saw today were pretty good, and hope the future games go well too. Lastly, I turn it over to you guys. Questions and comments for this. I know it's not a very conventional thing, but hopefully this opens up your range of possible strategies, when you guys play. And it's very fun to pretend that you're the prey and lure the opponent in and then kill him. So okay. I am done. My part is over. I'm happy to answer as many questions as you guys have.
Let me ask just one question. You can go first, Felipe.
No, go ahead, I guess.
Okay. Because recently I was rewatching AlphaGo Master Games versus AlphaGo Zero, right? And then it is really inspiring because we can see the one AlphaGo Master make those giant moils, and then AlphaGo Zero just knows how to deal against them. It is like allowing the opponents to build and build, and you think, okay, if it was me playing that, I would have invaded this really before. But AlphaGo Zero not. He just let opponent build and then invade and leave. And I would like to ask, how is the meta game now considering this part? You really think the most professional players are building modules, or are they being more conservative for territory due to, because it's really hard for humans, right, to play
To
like
invade and stuff.
yeah.
The most common thing humans say is, I like to be ahead on territory in the game because I know I have more and all I have to do is destroy. So to a large extent, humans agree with that. But they also say it's harder for humans to invade too. So for us, the most important thing is to remember to see the game as territory, thickness, and potential territory. And potential territory is just basically 1/3. Back in the days, we humans, before the first AlphaGo, were like, moyo or territory, basically the two things. But realize that the moyo is like just 1/3. Go for thickness, go for safety, so you can tanuki a lot in the future and catch up on territory, or go for a lot of territory and then just try to fight the fights to an even stuff. And defender's advantage helps a lot with that kind of fighting. And so the moyo is now relocated down to like just, because moyo is just potential territory, it's now like instead of 1/2 of the game, it's like 1/3 of the game. It still matters, but we're more quickly realizing that a very thick group also has a lot of potential territory. You can just leave it there and it will sort of continue to make territory for you later. So because of all these other ways of getting value, building a large moyo is less popular nowadays than before, but it's still very common where you'll have uncertain territory. It's very interesting nowadays. So good.
I was not actually going to. Oh no, actually, I had one question. It seems like a really thin line between, I think, the very first example that you showed, where you threatened to, I think it was it the AlphaGo game? I don't remember which game it was. That you threatened to capture 3 stones to make life.
The first game that we saw today, yeah.
Yeah. And
yeah, everything was about to die, and
and the opponent could just surround. It seems like a somewhat thin line
yes,
on just making life
Yes.
And going out. In the
Yes.
game, you end up going out and it
Yeah,
becomes a fight.
Yeah, we
But-
made both sides alive. Yeah. Mhm.
If you just make life inside and the opponent gets
Mhm.
one or maybe two moves outside,
Mhm.
isn't that like that is not necessarily a good trade, is it?
Correct. The most common source of losses is I think I just have to make life now, and then you make life a little bit too too early or too desperately, and you allow the opponent to make those moves on the outside. If you're able to find the line, and the key is to look for more exchanges. Remember, your defender's advantage is the exchanges help the defender a lot more. Look for the exchanges and active defense, or live in Sente, live in Sente so opponent doesn't get as many moves on the outside, that kind of thing. So highly encourage you guys to to reach for more. And 100%, especially when you're pretty safe, 100% safe is not a place where you want to be, basically. So um, note how the game, like Cho Chu Kung, he was pretty good, and then he counterattacked without making two eyes. I was almost dead. I counterattacked and ran out and took care of my groups by forcing the opponent to defend. Um, AlphaGo was able to also force Lee Sedol to defend, and during this time he saved his stones, and then he also was able to sneak in or complete his development. He's sort of like, there's a common saying which is, you're fighting here, but I'm gonna sneak in a little more development on the rest of the board. With AlphaGo, it was like, he wasn't sneaking it in, he was just doing it. That was very, very instructive. So by trying to toe the line and to realize that on the defensive end, you can be a lot more aggressive than you would think, is a very, very good thing to realize. And it's an opportunity for us to get ahead in the game, to win the game. We also saw a few games that of the Brazilian team that we watched, a few places we gained a lot by getting on the defensive side. And frequently this works better than the offensive side. Just realize there's like half of the opportunity, half the whole defensive opportunity with defender's advantage could be a really, really underutilized strategy to, a source of a way to win the game. Especially when we consider most of our losses come from, defending too heavily and stuff. So, in fact, this is probably like attacking is probably 1/3. Defender's advantage with defense is probably 2/3 of the opportunities. And so this hopefully is a, by accepting this and by accepting that, because the exchange often favors a defender, frequently you are able to make the attacker defend. By the way, this is also why in the attacking side, we want to strengthen our weakest attacking stones so the opponent cannot have these Sente moves that force us to defend, and then he can reach safety. So highly encourage you guys to do this more. I saw this in both games, which is very, very good. And this is right. You're not doing anything wrong, and this is very, very, very good. Good.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you so much. I'm moving now, okay? I'm pretty tired.
I know.
Thank you, Elcio, Felipe,
Yeah.
and
See you guys.
Bye.
I also talked very slowly and like circuitously today too. Talked for 2 hours. Great. Good luck, everyone, and keep practicing. The games were very, very nice, and very too bad we didn't win either of the two, but very good to see the quality there. Okay.
Okay.
See you guys. Yeah. See you guys next time, and cool.
Okay, thank you.